Hi travelers, it's Laura and Nick today. And today we're going on 2 different trips. I'm going to be traveling with the baby and he's going to be taking the big kids. But we're going to be using travel hacking.
Yes, that kind of travel hacking where you use your credit cards and you use your airline status and you put it all together so that you get some serious perks and avoid some major hassles.
And we're going to use travel hacking to make traveling with kids easier. So I'm going to be traveling with the toddler and I'm going to be flying on United using my United Explorer card.
And I'm going to be on Delta using my Delta Amex Reserve card and taking advantage of my Delta Platinum Medallion status.
Okay, let's get started. I gotta go pack.
TSA line looks awful, but we have a hack for that.
My first trick for travel hacking when you travel with kids is to get TSA Precheck. Going through TSA Precheck makes the security process 15 times easier. I can't even tell you. And for the longest time, Nick had Precheck and I didn't because I thought getting it would be a pain. But the process was so super easy. We went to a Staples for the interview and I probably could have even brought my kids. It was so low key. I had heard stories about what the interview process was like for global entry and it's a whole thing. So I was nervous about it. But TSA Precheck, super duper easy, totally worth getting, and anyone under 12 who is on your itinerary can go through Precheck with you. Once they're over 12, they have to get Precheck on their own. But here's the hack. The United card has a promotion where they will reimburse you the cost of going to get TSA Precheck. So you're getting it for free. Worth it.
So part of the reason we were able to get here was that security was super quick. Part of that is because we're TSA Precheck. So a couple things. I'm able to get TSA Precheck covered by my Delta Amex Reserve card. It covers it. And it's worth saying, I don't actually do TSA Precheck the way that Laura does. I actually use global entry. Now, so it covers it, right? So my credit card does cover the cost of that. And the cool thing about global entry is that it includes TSA Precheck along with it for free. Now, I select global entry because I do a little bit more international travel for work, and so it makes a little bit of sense for me to take advantage of that benefit. And the cost is the same. I mean, obviously the cost is free through those credit cards, but even out of pocket, even if I were paying, the cost is essentially the same. The downside of doing global entry over TSA Precheck is just that you have a more substantial interview process. There's fewer locations, it's more detailed, takes more time, so that's the downside of doing that. But in the whole scheme of things, it's not too bad.
Little relationship and marriage tip is if you don't both have Precheck, don't leave your spouse and go through the fast line and leave them standing for days in the long security line. I know, it's tough. Encourage them to get Precheck. Nick finally talked me into it and it was worth it. But security is the most stressful part of traveling. You don't need to, in that moment, split up and not be a team.
We're here at the LaGuardia Terminal C Lounge. It's one of our favorites. We've been here a couple times. We've done a bunch of other videos here before. It's actually the first time we've been here around breakfast time as opposed to before we head out for an evening flight. So we found a couple of things that work for us. I mean, fruit, obviously. They have some roasted potatoes that aren't bad. One thing that's interesting, they have these little smoothie cups that actually looked really good. We are on 2 different itineraries, and the reason for that is that because I'm a Delta Platinum Medallion, I'm able to upgrade to Comfort Plus for myself and one companion as soon as I book my ticket. And so when there's 3 of us, the way I usually handle that is I will book myself and one kid on my itinerary. I'll book it at main cabin and then automatically upgrade it to Comfort. And then when I book the 3rd ticket for the 2nd kid, I end up booking them and paying for Comfort. So really I get 3 upgrades to Comfort for just the price of 1. So that's my travel hack for trying to save money and get a better cabin location. When you book that 3rd ticket, that 2nd kid, you do have to call in, because otherwise Delta's going to assume that they're an unaccompanied minor, and it makes it a little trickier. And so you do end up having to call in or text or whatever to make that reservation happen. It also does make it a little trickier. If ever you have to do any kind of changes, or even this morning, we had to stop at the check-in counter because I can't pull up all of the boarding passes on my app. I have to get them printed out. Especially this early in the morning, it's a small price to pay to be able to get all 3 of us in Comfort and at a pretty significantly discounted rate.
For Axon, we've downloaded all of his favorite shows because we know that they're not going to have the seat back screens on our United flight. We're on an Embraer 170 and they won't have chargers, they won't have in-flight entertainment built in, and so we've downloaded his favorites and made sure that the tablet is fully charged.
We are prepared with electronics and chargers and all of that. And the great thing about the lounge is you've got all kinds of chargers here, and you want to make sure that you're all charged for the plane. That being said, we're on a pretty nice Delta Airbus 220, so I know we're going to be able to charge our devices. We're also going to get screens right on board. So the Delta experience is a pretty high one, and also Delta recently just announced that basically every flight gets free Wi-Fi. So even sometimes if you pay a little bit more for Delta, and you can, the benefit of the experience is pretty high.
We feel really strongly about some of our travel gear, but one of the best things is that stroller bag. It is a heavy-duty canvas, and we used to buy those red gate check bags that I swear would shred in one flight. There were giant holes, they were basically unusable. But we've used this one time and again. I think over the years we've gone through 2 of them, but that's not bad at all. And they're ginormous. We can fit a stroller and sometimes 2 or 3 car seats in it. So it almost feels like overkill for this little travel stroller and travel car seat, but I mean, that's great. I just love being able to get all of your items all at once when you're doing that pink tag at the gate, and instead of having to collect a bunch of items and wait to go up the gangway. And I'll put a link to this bag in the description down below.
I will say from a luggage situation, things are pretty easy. I've got 1 suitcase covering all 3 of us. I've got Nora's car seat that I've folded up that I'm probably going to carry on the plane as opposed to checking it because I don't want it getting thrown around, and it's small enough and easy enough that I don't have to worry about that. And Asher's got a backpack to carry all of the kids' electronics. It's pretty easy. Plus, at his age, he can cover his own bag and not have to worry about it. But I'll be honest, we don't have too much luggage to have to worry about.
Today we didn't go to the United Club because it's just not that much time to kill before our flight. But our United cards do come with 2 club passes per year, and we've made some videos showing us exploring some of those United clubs. We've had great experiences at United clubs in the past, but they always have charged us for every single one of us over the age of 2. If you have a child under 2, they may get in for free, but even when Axon was like 2.5, we got charged one of our passes for his entrance. But that's just our experience. You may have a different one.
Another benefit that I get on my Amex Delta Reserve card are extra passes for the lounge. So I get 2 of those per year. So I can get in for free as part of my credit card. So I just scan in, I come up to the lounge, that's no big deal. In order to get the kids, I end up having to use my guest passes. On occasion, when I come in with kids, sometimes they opt to count fewer kids as we come in. If this were adults, there's no question they would charge us for all the guest passes. And I also think 2 kids versus 3 kids and a really small 3rd kid. But I've had some situations where they haven't charged me for all of the guest passes. That wasn't the case today. They charge for 2 kids. I paid for 2 kids. It's what I expected. It's what it should be, so that's fine. It's no problem with that. But I have found times when it's all 5 of us, where I get in, I use a guest pass for Laura, and maybe I use 1 or 2 guest passes for the other 3 kids. So I don't want to call it a travel hack, but sometimes it's just one of those nice little bonuses that you get through your day that makes your day a little bit easier.
Since we are gluten and dairy free, we bring our own snacks on United flights because we've never been given an option on United that was both gluten and dairy free. Today, we brought Bobo's Oat Bites. Delta often has snacks that work for our diet. Nick and the older kids got Miss Vicky's chips, 88 Acres granola bars, and Kate's lemon coconut squares. Awesome job, Delta. We made it to South Carolina. What are your favorite credit card tricks and travel hacks?
I used my United card.
What's
Okay, crazy lady, go do your thing.
It's acting.
What's my motivation?
It's travel planning and credit card points. It's the thing that always motivates you. Hey! Please like and subscribe for more travel tips and fun. We'll see you next time, travelers.